Happy Friday, everyone.
Oh, God.
Happy Friday.
Happy
Yes.
Friday.
We
indeed.
survived another week.
Yeah.
One would hope.
Dr.
Wow.
Gina Williams, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, no, it's I'm looking forward to it. It's a lot of fun. You and I actually know each other through our friend Dave, and Dave is a great guy and one of the most massive super connector dudes I've ever met in my
great connector.
entire life. So yeah, a friend of Dave, it's a friend of ours kind of thing. So welcome again.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
So yeah, let's just get into it. You know, what got you here, man? Like I love your bio. I know you said we don't have to talk about lawyers or make lawyer jokes, but I think it's funny when I see these everyone's bios, right? Everyone's got such a different stories.
Yeah, they got to tell their story, man. How you got there is almost as important as what you do, you know?
Yeah,
that's what makes us unique. I was the mail girl for a major law office in Midtown Manhattan. I got that through my work-study program in school, and I would get coffee and do all the mail. So I would be able to tell how much money hold by just holding an envelope eventually to put on the stamp, because I'd have to stamp it out like I was working in the post office. And so I just hold something in my hand. I'm like, this is 2.5 pounds. That equals $5. Boom, and be completely accurate. It's a skill of weighing things, holding them.
Wow, that's pretty funny, and it's funny how we get into like sensitivities in the world, right? Like something so small like that, you're like, I got this.
Yes. I got very good with that, but it was a little boring for me, and I didn't have any person interaction. And so I knew that whatever job I do eventually, I'd have to interact with people, because that made me smile and made me feel like when I come home from the day, like, I had a good day. I learned this about this person, or I helped this person with such and such. And so I figured it out. It's physical therapy. No way not to interact when you're talking to patients and doctors and trying to help people heal.
I mean, the word physical is in the name, so you would assume you'd have to be there with them.
Yeah, be a hell of a trick if you weren't.
I'm sure COVID bred some hybrid type situations, but
I did discover virtual therapy about 8 years before COVID. So
really?
Yeah, so I was practicing
ahead of the curve.
Therapy here. Well, there were many practitioners that were doing it, and it was helping people. One, accountability, diagnosis, understanding, and if anyone's ever had physical therapy and they think about the session they've had, how much of that time did the therapist actually touch you? And there's a huge percentage where they didn't. And so that's what we do virtually. And not everyone needs a massage, depending on the diagnosis. And so that for those clients, it worked.
Right. Interesting. So cool. So like, how long does this transformation take? You know what I mean? Like, is this like you did it over a decade, or was it like you did it?
It was a decade of,
oh, wow. So,
realizing that, I wanted to help people. I was doing pre-med, and I loved the body and everything like that. And I did psychology as well, double major. I had fun. I loved it. I took a gap year to study for my MCAT and, process what I want to do for work. And I couldn't find any temp work because when someone looked at my resume, it said, I'm going to medical school, so I'll probably leave your company in a year. And so in that case, I
volunteered. They don't like when you're going to bail on them the second you get a chance.
No, they wouldn't hire me. I don't know why.
Dr. Williams, can I ask, do you have a little Caribbean, or do I detect a slight accent there?
Oh, I try to mask it.
Why? Why? You're in Manhattan. That's like the best place to show it, man.
My family's from Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay.
Yes. And my father's from South America, so Guyana. So it's a mix of cultures, lots of great food.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hell of a food.
I didn't mean to sidetrack you there, but if you want to talk about food for the next 45 minutes, I'm fine with that. I will meet you right there.
That's how I caught my husband, food.
That's literally the best. I mean, I love it. And it's funny, my wife is actually not such a food person. And so it's not a spot where we could kind of, and my kids eat from the food groups of chicken nugget and hot dog and mac and
Oh,
cheese.
no.
Oh,
So it's like I'm sort of a one man show when it comes to culinary stuff over here.
Oh yeah, no, there's lots of amazing homemade stuff. You get used
yeah.
to making stuff from home because that's what you got. Like, it was so interesting to me. I remember as a kid, like, it was a treat. Somebody from America brought a package of dog food for the dogs. And we were outside like, ooh, like
Yeah.
the dogs eat table food that we give them. So it was just like, ooh,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
get packaged food.
Yeah.
Ooh, what's that? It was like amazing.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Sadly, now humans are eating packaged food, but that's another issue.
Yeah. Wow, that's funny. So cool. Yeah, no, I'm like, yeah, I agree with Tom. We could talk about food for probably the 7 more podcasts, but moving right along, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, we're not going to get into the Indian/African influence in cuisine in Guyana. No.
No, yeah.
No, we can't do that.
Great way, yes. Lots of the curries and spices and sauces.
Oh man, I have unintentionally been fasting. You know, where you kind of get busy and you don't eat,
Yeah.
and I'm due a good meal.
Yeah.
but
It's
to Matt's
like, I have
point,
an internet problem. I'm gonna have to go right now.
excuse me. Let me see what I can Grubhub here.
Yeah, that's funny.
All right, Matt, steer us back. I'm sorry, I'm way off topic
coming
here.
Back. All right, so we found our vocation. We've spent the decade. We're good to go. Like, what's sort of your passion in this ecosystem? You know, like there's a lot of different ways you could approach this, right? Therapeutically, philosophically.
Yeah, so ideally, my passion turned into one-on-one care. I had an experience with a patient where I was working for a busy physical therapy practice. I had 7 patients to work with in 1 hour. And when I looked over at one of my patients, they were passed out and unresponsive, dripping in sweat.
Oh.
And so when I went over to her, she wasn't responding to me. I checked her vitals and everybody surrounded me. Her vitals, I kept it to myself. It was 40/20.
Jesus.
That normal blood pressure is 120/80. So she was like, almost gone. So I checked and I found a faint pulse. She was still alive. I thanked my stars. I revived her, did resuscitations, called 911. They got her in the ambulance. She was already resuscitated by the time they got there, but I had to then call her daughter and tell her that under my care, her mom was ill. I mean, I helped her, but if I wasn't paying attention, something bad could have happened. And I realized taking care of 7 people and just me is not safe and not legal. And I don't want to do that. So I decided to just leave and just make my own practice.
Wow. So there actually are laws against that, huh?
Yes, there are. But people do different things.
And because we're set up for a profit, you have to crank it out. And in Manhattan, I'm sure you don't. you got a dollar sign on every footstep of that square footage there. I totally get that.
Mm-hmm. So I treat people one-on-one, one at a time, because that's somebody's grandma, so their mom, their dad, and I'm responsible, and I want to take my time to get to know how I can help.
Yeah, we talk about this a lot on the show, and I think, I have a concierge doc. Tom is a acupuncture and a Chinese medicine guy. So like, I think both of us have an above average literacy in the importance of one-on-one individualized care. But it's funny how that's like a lost art or a luxury, right? Like my concierge doc's not free, it doesn't.
Well, and I'm hearing the other side of it, of the practitioner burnout, the demand to perform, right? We have somebody coming on the show that's he's an MD who got burnt out in the ER and made a documentary about practitioner burnout. And we're doing this big, hopefully, screening down here in Baltimore. But it's something that's not unique to any type of healthcare. It's across the board. Everybody feels it.
It sure is. And I think part of the issue is like understanding worth. So if next patient comes to physical therapy for 9 months and they're still not better, is that a savings? They're not helping themselves to heal. And it costs money to go into someplace 9 months. Your whole life is on pause because you're not, moving the way you need to. Or you could invest in 3 months of physical therapy, fully get better because of that one-on-one individualized care. And you have another 6 months to do whatever else you want.
Right. Yeah. And that's actually kind of an interesting way of looking at it, because I've never calculated that out like that. But if you look at the cost, I guess the blanket cost that I'm spending on this versus the opportunity cost lost by dragging this out.
Yeah.
It's kind of a different
well,
situation.
not only that, if you look at what, and if somebody's going through the insurance route, right? It's a cost savings for the insurance too, to pay a little bit more for those more intensive personal visits than it is to, like, I often joke, like, somebody would rather, the insurance company makes out better if they send a back pain patient to me every week for a year than they do just going to get an MRI and have a radiologist read it. That's going to cost them more.
Yeah.
Right.
So, more care and not spending those ridiculous overheads. So I definitely agree. A 3-month intensive one-on-one is going to do more for an individual, as well as save some money in the long run.
Right.
And then it goes one step sort of more tangled. I messed up my shoulder earlier this year, right? And I have to go to our business partner is a very high functioning sports chiropractor kind of wellness guy.
I think he was the only one to do a surgical rotation at a hospital or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, very ortho clinic, I think.
He's a comprehensive guy, right? And he's basically like, this is what you need. And when I called my insurance company about that, they're like, well, we don't have that. Like, it's not even in our network. And all he was asking for was a sports chiropractor, right? And how he defined that was somebody who understands mobility, not just, your hip bones connected to your, but like, actually, like, what does that mean? What are the 8 bones before and the 8 bones after and all that stuff? And applies it through a kinetic lens rather than, just a pure chiro lens. Everybody I talk to in our network, just a chiropractor. When you start talking about words like mobility and stuff, they're like, well, this should help that. I'm like, well, let's peel that back a little bit. What does should mean? Meanwhile, I found a group that does exactly what he said. They're spot on. They don't take insurance, period. Full stop. They're like, we'll give you a couple codes. And if your insurance company pays, great. If not,
good luck. Yeah.
Here's the thing though. I get on the call with them and they're like, I showed them my MRI. I told them what was going on. They're like, we'll have you out of here in like 3 to 10 visits tops. And I said, how confident are you in that? Because the other guy said this could be 6 months. He goes, yeah, the other guy's getting paid by your insurance company. So he goes, I don't want to say that they're doing the bare minimum, but let's put it this way. They have no incentive to get done with you, right? Like there's no motivation. We know you're not going to keep paying us forever. And we want you to come back the next time you need us. So like we have all the motivation to get you the fuck up out of here as fast as possible.
There it is. Yeah. That's so true. First time with a patient, first day, we're talking about how can I get rid of you? What? Like, no, like this is the goal so we can stop seeing each other.
The goal is to write me out of the equation. Yeah.
Be out there being happy.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it is funny when you look at it from our perspective, right? You see like Tom takes insurance for acupuncture. And
I fucking hate it, dude. I fucking hate it. But like, and I mean, I'm sure this is the struggle for everybody that switches to cash. I don't want to leave anybody behind. And you're going to lose some people because of that. And it's a struggle, but when you reframe it and you can get people to understand that I'm going to do more for you, or I'm able to do more for you outside of that system, hopefully they stick around, But
I think there's a growing trend. There's such restrictions with insurance and rules that people are understanding that, stringing things along and, piecemealing things is not what's going to help heal them quickly.
No, right. Absolutely not.
And I'm finding it's like less and less useful anyway. I had to get a crown in my dental thing.
That's my design.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's like dental insurance is like nonsensically useless. Yes. It's like, okay, so
we will give you $50 for one cleaning every 6 months.
Yeah, like yeah, and it's like the crown. I go in to get a crown, and they're like, "All right, your bill today is $500." I'm like, but I have insurance. They're like, yeah, I know. I'm like, what? Like, what are we paying for here? Like, what?
Yeah.
How much would this have been without insurance? And they're like, it doesn't matter. It would have been more. And I'm like, well, I mean, how much more? I mean, because if it was like $100 more or $200 more or hell,
Why am I
even
paying
300
for it?
bucks.
Yeah.
Why the hell am I paying for health insurance or dental insurance, which has got to be a lot more than that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, and then by the way, my chiropractor, I can't even see an insurance because I have like a $2,000 deductible, and they don't.
Well, you know, and
just
then
take it off the top. They take off a percentage of it. So basically, it's like to reach the deductible, you're like, all right, $2,000. I only need $2,000 of stuff. No, you actually need like 7,000 for the stuff.
Yeah,
to get to that. Yeah, it's so fucking.
Well, you know, and I think this is part of the reason. I don't know if you heard about this up there. Hopkins went toe to toe with Care First down here, which is our Blue Cross Blue Shield. Care First changed their policies, right? Hopkins is a big university hospital. It's got a lot of gravitas behind it. They did the same thing with United. You know what United said? Yeah, sorry. I guess our customers can't see your doctors anymore.
Wow.
I mean, and Matt dropped everybody. They're like, nope, you can't see anybody from Hopkins. Basically, we won't cover it.
And you know what the problem with that is if anything niche goes wrong with a human being on planet Earth, you know where the best place to be is? Johns Hopkins. Like Saudi sheiks come over here when weird shit's going on. Like everybody comes here. Like this is like not like, I mean,
well, the Saudis are probably paying cash.
I mean, yeah, they're probably.
I have a feeling they're like,
yeah.
Here's the Mercedes out front. Let me know when the bill gets higher.
Yeah. The entire hospital floor. But do you take my insurance?
Yeah. No, you're right. They're not.
Look, I'm bringing in my own caterers.
Yeah. But the point is like that level of care, the reason those kind of people come there is because they're really fucking good at their job, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and they're top of the field in their job. So to summarily say you're out, like, who do you think you are? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, come on.
Well, it's a business. It's not in the business of saying, this is the top hospital, let's keep them in. No, it's like, that's going to cost X amount. We're not including that hospital.
And we've danced around this topic several times here, but I think it's kind of interesting when an entire country raises a GoFundMe for a dude who guns down a guy in cold blood, like no fucking excuses. And people are like, where's the GoFundMe? We want to pay for his legal fees. I'm like, this should be a fucking neon sign for people to be like, there's a problem. But
violence is not okay.
No, violence sucks and it's not okay at all. But think about like how
not
pissed do people have to be.
Not taking care of people is also violence. And I think denying somebody's claim is also violence. And I think, I would say homelessness, lack of food, lack of mental health care too. I mean, all of these are a form of violence and they're perpetrated at large scale legally by companies that are deciding whether or not I don't know if you saw the video, and Dr. Gina, this took a really weird fucking turn.
Yeah.
But within that, like I don't know if you saw the video of the heart surgeon on hold with United Healthcare saying, no, this patient needs this surgery. And they're going, no, we don't think it's medically necessary. Now here's a phone rep, not another healthcare professional even, saying that, like, we think you just want to open this person's chest up and work on their heart because whatever. Not like that. I don't think somebody doing cardiac surgery. Yeah, they might have a yacht payment coming up, but I don't think they're going to go, yeah, let's crack this chest just so I can get paid. It's such a weird, this is such a bizarre conversation because there's so many, I don't want to say bad guys in it, but there's so many sides that are really not working in the patient's best interest.
Sure.
That's a good point.
So like, how do you feel the reception has been in you with, I guess, two sides of it, you personally going into this one-on-one approach and then like people that you treat, like, are you happy in this arrangement? Have you found it
Oh,
to be
I love
productive?
it. You get to kind of really know the person well and
Mm,
understand their goals and why they want to get to where they need to be. And sometimes it takes them out of the space of, I am in pain all the time. It hurts, it hurts, it hurts. And you're kind of teaching them, okay, well, yeah, it's week 2 and you hurt, but week 1, you hurt a lot less and you were doing a lot less, you know?
mm,
And so giving them the tools to then continue and progress and having the time to is a great gift for me. And then patients who were not used to the one-to-one are really thrown aback that I'm asking what they're doing over their weekends. Because if you're hiking and biking and then coming to physical therapy and telling me your knee hurts, I need to know what you're doing with your body. Not
mm,
necessarily that I'm
mm.
nosy about your activities, but whatever you're using your body to do, I need to know that to help heal you.
Yeah,
Right,
paint
right.
that complete picture. So
Mhm.
are you going to them? Are they coming to you? How does that all work?
So it's a little bit of everything. So
Okay.
I do telehealth physical therapy.
Okay.
If you live in Manhattan, I have a team of therapists that can come to your home, and we
Okay.
do have a clinic in Midtown Manhattan as well.
Oh, okay.
That's
Real
cool.
hybrid.
Eh,
Hmm.
you know what? It's funny too, and I think this is more of a personal curiosity, but physical therapy, I think, has been one of the most misunderstood things in my world anyway. And I can't imagine that I'm unique because physical therapy, I think a lot of times, especially with dudes, I don't need fucking physical therapy. Who the what? Come on, nah, I'll just shake it off. I'll just, it looks like good. And every time I've had to do physical therapy, which has not been that many times, it's been instantly better. And I'm like, I don't know why we have this blockade mentally on
I would
physical
argue
therapy.
it's almost all healthcare though.
I think so too. Yeah, and it's even worse amongst the health practitioners
Yeah.
themselves
Oh,
in
right.
terms of like following. We would know something should help us, but it's kind of like pushing it off and not taking care of yourself, even though it might be the right thing. And once you're in it, you're like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, I had a cigarette break with one of my doctors before a doctor's appointment years and years, like 20 years ago. I'm like outside. I'm like, oh, hey, doc. He's like, yeah, hey. I'm like, all right, so we're here. Like,
Yes,
so, yeah.
we've evolved a little bit from then.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Well, he
Maybe.
was smoking the one brand that was chosen by 9 out of 10 physicians, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And approved by the FDA.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Right. Oh, man, I love that. Yeah, I also love that people still quote those things as though any of that stuff still happens, right? Like, I'm like, oh, yeah, okay.
I remember a dentist saying, "No one's ever asked my goddamn opinion about toothpaste," and I thought that was funny. What do you mean 4 out of 5?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, where I was going with the physical therapy thing is like, I don't want to call myself an athlete, but I'm very physical, right? Like, do a lot of running, you know what I mean? Like, I no, my doctor called me. He's like, well, you're an athlete. I'm like, am I? Like, when I think of athlete, I think of like people like performing in some kind of like professional or at least semi-professional situation. Like, I run marathons and stuff. Like, that's it. Like, I don't consider that necessarily
Yeah,
an athlete.
Matt, the level of training for that is more than I would say most Americans are doing
On average,
on
yeah.
average, and even what I would consider like healthy people might be doing. I mean, to train for a marathon. I mean, you keep saying how easy it is, but like that sounds fucking horrible to me.
I mean, but
Yeah,
again, for me, it's
but
more
like
of a meditation than a training.
I
So
get
it's
that.
not like I'm not like that's what I said. I mean, for me, an athlete, I wouldn't necessarily call myself an athlete, but I'm physically active. And to Tom's point, probably a little bit more than the average bear. But physical therapy ends up being one of these things for me that's evolved into. It's not necessarily about therapy anymore. It's about prophylactic like practices that keep me in
one
mobility,
piece,
right?
yeah, and moving well.
Right,
Yes.
right. It's not like, oh, I got hurt, so now I got to do this thing. It
No,
can be that.
shift to a preventative care model. Many of our clients are not necessarily, maybe they've encountered us because they originally hurt themselves at some point in the past few years. But there's a level of, mobility and maintenance that is necessary to make sure you're not preventing, you're making sure you're doing things well, because many of our clients are like you, Matt, where they're not professionally playing a sport or even semi-pro because they have a 9 to 5,
right?
But they are running 100 miles a week or cycling or in tennis marathons, twice a week. So we have to accommodate for that and make sure that they're using their joints appropriately and making sure the muscles are balanced.
Yeah,
I think that's a great point. Yeah, they're like, oh, I'm healthy. Look, I can do all this. And then one day they just can't, right? It's like, no.
Yeah.
It's going that little checkup you get every 6 months is not telling you your overall health. It's not showing all those little things that, a little bump, a little bruise here, or, repetitive use disorder might be coming to play there, where you're seeing all these little things add up, and people don't pay attention to that unless it's screaming at them a lot of times.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm literally the only runner I've ever met, period, full stop, that has never had an neuroma or, patellar tendonitis or any of these like overuse.
I wish you didn't say that out loud, man.
Yeah.
He's
going to go for a run, and he's going to be like, what the hell was that?
What the hell was that? Well, no, the reason why though is because I'm also, as you might expect from a dude who started a podcast about health crap, I'm like weirdly obsessed with things that prevent those things. Right under my desk right now, I have 4 lacrosse balls that have been there for 15 years.
Nice.
Like,
he
what
doesn't
do I
even
do?
play lacrosse.
I don't even play lacrosse. Yeah, my kids don't play lacrosse. Nobody around me plays lacrosse.
There is literally, we don't know how they got there.
Yeah, no, I know exactly how they got there. I roll my feet out.
Wouldn't understand what that's used for unless they've actually had that foot pain.
Yeah,
I've never had it, but this is why I don't have it. Yeah.
So it's great. You sound like you do have like a lot of the tools for preventative.
Oh yeah, I'm the guy who went on Amazon when I went to go find my first one and found that they have the welded together lacrosse balls, so they're like a figure 8. I'm like, nice. Let's get one of those. And then I'm like, you know what? My lower back's a little weird. Let me sit on this thing. And it's like a torture device, but 10 minutes of rolling back and forth on that. I mean, I could go months.
Foam roller.
Yeah.
No. The 2 lacrosse balls that are welded together and they form.
Balls? Oh, whoa.
It basically looks like a figure 8 if you look at it from the side.
So you're rolling your back on that too?
Right, because it goes the width of your spinal column, so it literally presses on either side of your spinal column, and you can just roll it out like nice and like it hurts.
That shit is like, you're doing that?
Yeah. I've been doing it for years.
We're not exactly wired right.
Like when I bring that out, patients are like, "No, I don't want to do that."
No, I've got like the what do you call the ball that's like this, the trigger point ball that you can put on. That thing's my emergency, like something got hurt.
Nodules.
Yeah, exactly. But my foam roller sits in my family room next to my chair. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. You got to put the foam roller in the way. That's my trick. Put it in the way of someplace where you are. So you get on it. Yeah.
My kids have long thought I'm an idiot, like a lunatic. But again, listen, when they get jacked up, I'm like, the foam roller's literally right here. Just
I remember one morning I'm kind of yelling at myself. My wife is like, what's wrong? And I'm like shoveling handfuls of vitamins down my mouth. And I go, I remember making fun of my dad in the 80s for taking so many goddamn vitamins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. I mean, some of it is definitely age related, but I think for me, the age related problem is that the older I get, the more I'm interested in not getting old. So I constantly like, all right, well, throwing a tennis ball or something underneath my desk, a lacrosse ball under my desk is like $3 and it's super easy to do. And I could do it while I'm on a podcast, for example. I could do it when I'm just sitting here. Like, I don't have to think about it. It's like not a part. It's not like a friction in my life.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, you sound like you know a lot intuitively, because that's the trick, to add things into your day, but not make it an extra thing.
Yeah, it's not exactly right. And and I'm like, Tom wrote a book on stacking, but like, I mean, I'm like, I think we all kind of agree on the stacking.
That book never came to fruition. That's still
okay. Well, Tom is writing a book on stacking. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we've paused that, but
But
Yes,
stacking
it's
is like
still
part
stacking.
is part of everything I do, right? Like I don't just do one thing, right? Like so in the morning when I'm meditating, I'm not just meditating, I'm stretching, got red light in my nose.
Yeah.
I'm usually doing, 3 or 4, and I'm on a PEMF mat at the same time. So like I'm doing like 3 3 therapy modalities at the same time, but they all need 20 minutes. So now instead of a 60-minute morning routine, I could do a 20-minute routine and get all of those things.
And honestly, Matt and I have like kind of made fun of the health influencers that like describe their day and how they recover, and it's 14 hours every day. Like if you listen to it, it's 14 hours, and you're like, you're either not doing that or you're not doing any of them well. It's interesting, but when you can combine, it's great. It definitely saves you time.
And then when I had a person tell me years ago when I first told them about this, I was talking to somebody and they're like, well, you can't stretch and meditate at the same time. You got to sit there and just meditate. And since then, I disagreed instinctually on that, but I didn't know if it was just my ego in the way or if it was actually real. Turns out we've had, people on the show that do Zen meditation, Buddhist meditation, Tibetan meditation on people, all kinds. And turns out there is a whole line of meditation that's kinetic based. Yes. And I have the Muse headband and literally can measure those meditative states. Mm-hmm. And as it turns out,
you're getting deeper into your meditation.
Matt Hampton likes to move when he meditates. I didn't know this.
So Matt, that was the foundation of yoga, was the idea that if I move my body in certain ways, I can prep it for meditation.
Correct. Yes.
And so it's funny because my stretching is more of a vinyasa like type of stretching. So it's not like athletic. I'm not doing hurdlers and all, like I'm literally doing, mountain pose. Shavasana is how I end it. Like it's all very, very yogic in origin. But when I get into those things, when I roll on my back and pull my legs over my head, my birds go through the roof. I get like, it's just like my body just instantly is in that zone. And it only happens when I get into those deep, expressive sort of yogic pieces. The other one that does it is weirdly Shavasana, like sitting there, like stretch out and then just kind of like calm into one like blob on your mat, which is a PEMF mat in my case. And all of a sudden birds through the roof, just and I'm like, but that's one of those things where it took me getting older, learning more about the various types of meditation, exploring how those affect me personally, and then measuring the results and saying, okay, this
what works for you
is definitively better for me. Right. And so anyway, a long way of saying, like, I think it's interesting when you've got tools like this, like what you're doing. I mean, movement affects anybody who can move.
Yes.
Right.
But even if you can't move and you meditate and think about the process of moving, your way the brain is wired, it will help initiate movement.
Which I've heard as well. That's kind of crazy if that actually works.
I mean, like God, there's been, what do they call them? The Lazarus man. He had a spinal cord injury and he was in bed. And I think he just kept saying to himself one day, move your big left toe. Move your big left toe. And, after about a year, he was walking out of the hospital, which everyone said it's not going to happen. But yeah, Dr. Gina's absolutely right. You can rewire that in a lot of cases. It's not easy. But it can happen. It takes a while.
Yeah, especially the weird rabbit hole we're in lately, Tom, with like these energetic people, like we're talking about.
I feel like we just like, she was like, I was going to come on and talk about PT and Matt's talking about birds. What the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah, what the fuck is he talking about? Yeah.
The birds just show coherence. So you hear a little chirp every time there's some coherence in your brain.
Yeah. Sorry, I just assume everyone knows what Muse is.
Not everyone has a Muse meditation headband.
Has one.
No, but I understand the coherence point of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny. And I'm sorry, I didn't even do that on purpose. But I'm like, I just assume we talk about Muse so much on this show. I just assume everyone. Like,
We had the co-founder on twice too, so
Oh, okay.
it kind of we're deep down a couple of holes, and that's one of them.
the Muse is definitely one of them for sure. So, so along the lines of cohorts, do you have like people that you tend to vibe with better than not, or are you kind of like?
Yeah, is there a condition, a group of people you like to treat and work with?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Well, it comes down to, sometimes it's the person with the chronic pain who's tried different things, but ready to see what actually works. And it's also those people who have very specific goals. Like, hey, I got to give 3 speeches at 3 major universities. I just had this hip replacement. I don't want to use a cane and I want to wear 3-inch heels. Okay.
Oh, wow.
This is what you got to do to get that done. Let's do it.
Yeah.
One of those things seems detrimental.
Yeah.
I never like telling anybody no, but one of them sounds like less of a good idea.
Yeah, definitely scrap the speaking engagements, Tom. I think that's what you're
totally.
about. Yeah.
Why are you speaking anywhere? I'm in 3-inch heels right now.
Yeah. So when you get somebody with that, like I'm curious because I'm not a practitioner, but I always like hearing Tom's stories and now your story. But like, how do you kind of like, as a practitioner, what's the rule book for like replying to people like that? Because that is a little bit of a, let's call it a stretch goal, right? Like you're like,
well, it depends on the person, what's going on with them, and you have to, 1, tell them that's unrealistic. 2, that's doable, but we have to do a ridiculous amount of work. Are you ready for that? And if they agree, you could push them through that.
Right.
And she's doing what she needs to do. She completed the goal in the exact time frame that we talked about on day 1 because she committed to just, okay, that's what you want, do it.
She's like, I am not fucking around, people.
Well, I mean, just from the way she described, the patient, it sounds like, no, this is a CEO that will like move mountains if she has to. Yeah.
And so that's what happens. I mean, you got to peel a certain person back sometimes, like that's unrealistic. But I even had a woman who was bedridden for a bit. She ended up getting sick, pneumonia in the hospital, and she was moving around. She was 93 before that. Wow. And after the 3 months of being in the hospital, they brought me in to show the family how to use a Hoyer lift to hoist her in and out of bed because she couldn't move. And, I usually don't do that. I usually hand that off, but I did the family training. And then I said, can we see if she can move out of bed? And she couldn't even dress herself. But ideally, like we were talking about before, Tom, I had everyone say, just ask her to help you dress herself. She couldn't move, but within 3 months, this woman who was being Hoyer lifted out was walking from her bedroom to her living room because her goal was to watch her stories in the living room.
Right.
I never got into soap operas, but people really love them.
Yeah. And you know what, though? I the only 90-year-olds that I've ever met, those are fucking determined group of people.
Yes.
Like, I mean,
the
they're
first day
like,
we met, she's like, get out of my effing face, you B.I.T.
Yeah.
Well, they've seen some stuff. They've been through some stuff.
I'm like, you're going to meet your goals.
Yeah. I'm not worried about this lady.
You will outlast us all.
Yeah.
I got excited. I'm like,
That's cool. And those are encouraging stories because I think so many times, I mean, and I think a lot of times the biggest enemy is ourselves in the world, right? Like everyone thinks like, I'm almost 50 and I can't tell you how many people, like it's almost like it's the rule, not the exception for sure. The people are like, oh man, we're all getting old. You just got to accept this. I'm like, accept what? Like, what are we saying here? That I should just be sitting on the couch watching fucking Hulu? Like, come on, stop.
Well, if you do that, then guess what? You will feel and be old.
Well, right. And we looked at Tom and I make fun of this all the time about Wilford Brimley. I'm older than Wilford Brimley when he
did Cocoon.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like the Golden Girls were like barely 50 when they started recording.
Right. And at that, Estelle Getty was the youngest one.
Yes, isn't that fucking crazy?
Yeah. And she looked like she was 1,000 and she was like 49.
I think the height really kind of was detrimental to her. And then to have B. Arthur be her daughter to just play that up.
Yeah.
I have
like, those
two. I
people
have
look-
two Golden Girls t-shirts.
Nice.
One of them is a Golden Girls. It's B. Arthur with the Run the Jewels logo.
Yeah.
And then the other one is the classic, not Operation Ivy. Why can't I think of the name? Minor Threat album cover with the four band members with the Golden Girls heads on them. That's a complete side trail, but
we have an homage to the Golden Girls.
I like the Golden Girls.
Yeah, but you know what? Everybody our age or plus or minus knows Golden Girls and Cocoon and could definitively say, no, those people.
They must have been 65, 70.
Yeah,
they were in a retirement community. They were in an old age home.
Yeah. You know, now you hear somebody like, oh, it's my 70th birthday, and they're like climbing Kilimanjaro or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like, and you look at them and you're like, you don't look like you're 60, let alone 70.
Right.
And you act like you're 40, not 70. So like, I mean, look, it's funny. I had this conversation recently. Somebody was like, oh, they were turning 70 and they're like, I feel like this is the best time to be alive for me. Like if you can come back, like I wouldn't come back as a 20-year-old. I'd come back as a 70-year-old. I'm like, what? Like, and they're like, yeah, no, I'm so happy where I'm at. And I'm like, how many people said that 30 years ago?
Wow, no.
I know, you know, but we were asked that when we appeared on a podcast. And I think, you know, they said, if you could go back with everything you know now, and I think both me and Matt were like, no, we wouldn't go back.
No, I wouldn't go back.
No, why would you go back?
But I mean,
I'm just warming up.
I said now was my favorite time, so maybe when I'm 70, it'll be the same thing.
Your
like,
future,
no,
yeah, the present time. Same with me. I mean, college was great, all that stuff. Like, but I love my now. It's my favorite part in my life in terms of like work and family dynamics and my workouts and my yoga.
Right.
It's like great, but I can't imagine, like Matt said, loving 10 and 20 years from now just as equally.
Just as equally, yeah. And it's funny, my son's about to go to college and I'm like, you know, taking him on the college tours and I'm remembering my college time. And Doc, to say I enjoyed my college time would be somewhat of an understatement. I explored all boundaries of the collegiate experience. And it was great. I had a great time, very positive time in my life, but like, I don't necessarily ever need to revisit that. Right. Like, and that's why I see these people that are like, oh my God, I'd love to go back to college. I'm like, no, you wouldn't. No, you most definitely would not.
I feel bad when people are like, high school was the best time of my life. And I'm like, look, I didn't hate high school either, but yeah. No, never want to do that again.
Yeah.
That once was good.
Yes.
But it goes back to what I was saying earlier, right? I feel like the older that I get, like, you know, we did a Akashic record last night where she on air took us and we went into the Akash and
I did not mean to put her on the spot, but she just
went in
rolled
and we
with
just
it.
did it. And I'm like sitting there going, 49-year-old Matt had no problem meditating on camera and going and checking out a spirit
saying
world.
Om and shit in front of
you know, yeah, we were oming and of course, the first 3 ohms out of 5, I'm like, shit, am I timber matching her right now? Because I feel like I'm off a little bit.
I was like, I don't know if I'm hearing both Matt.
Yeah. Ohming on Riverside is clearly not an ideal environment because everyone's a little bit off, right? Like everyone's just a tiny skosh off. But like, if you would have asked me to do that when I was in college, I would have openly mocked you. Like, it'd been like, I'm sorry, what now?
I would have probably been worse.
Yeah.
I would have been non-compliant.
I mean, I would have done it, but I would have jokingly done it. It would have been definitely making fun of you, not playing with you.
Wow.
And it's not, I don't think that's bad for the place and time I was at. Like, that makes sense. But like, once you could see the broader perspective, I think it is so much more fulfilling and rewarding. And then you start to realize that like, hey, what Dr. Gina does is important for my movement, and what this other guest we have is important for my spiritual development, and for
Mhm.
this other guest is great for my mental health, and this other guest, you know what I mean? So it's like the tapestry that we're building is like, you can't do that when you're 21.
No, and yes, so it's the youth and the everything, and the world is invincible, but not a lot of the knowledge we accomplish or accumulate like 25 years later. It's a big difference.
Yeah. And the big buzzword in like psychedelics and meditation is this integration piece, right? Like, and like, I think this is also one of the most misunderstood pieces of all of those things as well, as integrating. I don't know if you have to do that in physical therapy necessarily, because you're kind of integrating it as you're doing it, right? I mean, there's no like post mental integration of your physical therapy, right? You got physical therapy. That is the integration.
Yes, it is.
Right.
But we do kind of, sum it up for people and help them kind of realize how to put things together on their own.
Oh, that's interesting. So there is a little bit of an integrative component to it. Yeah, but nobody likes to do that one, right? It's like day 3 of a Z Pack. Everyone's done with it.
Well, hey, look, I'll push back on that a little bit. When I see people that have been to physical therapy, a lot of them will go, well, I haven't been doing my exercises.
Oh.
I was taught, or they're like, you know what? It was really bad last week, but I pulled out the old worksheets the PT gave me and I started on them, and it's already getting better.
Right.
So yeah, like you'll see it go both ways. Like they're well aware one way or the other, but they should have been doing the damn thing the whole time.
Yeah. I know.
So,
I get to like day 3 of that Z Pack, and I'm like punching out the next one. I'm like, oh, this is so dumb.
That's how syphilis got around.
Yeah.
All the prostitutes in Vietnam
were like, yeah.
I took the pack.
Yeah.
For a day or two. It's good.
It's good.
Nothing's burning.
PT
Also,
has that
fuck
too,
the
though.
GIs.
Yeah. PT has that too, man. I feel great day 1 and 2, and then I'm like kind of like busy and like maybe I finish it, maybe I don't. I can see that. I mean,
I think that's a human condition a little bit. I think, and I would say it applies to anything. Like, oh, I got the benefit out of it, right? We see it with antibiotics. That's why everything's getting or is antibiotic resistant now.
Yeah. No, we're past that.
We're past that. Yeah, I made a joke from like the early 70s.
So Gina, where do you see this going for you? I mean, it seems like you're kind of like in your lane now, right? How do you see?
Yeah,
this
you're dialed in. Yeah.
Well, I definitely want to work more in educating everyone and teaching everyone about physical therapy and the holistic healing. Even like some practitioners that I know, they don't really understand how impactful it can be to just have a consult, even once or twice a year, have someone go to a physical therapist just to do a check-in, a systems check, to make sure that they're balanced, to prevent, an injury that's something simple that now 2 years later needs surgery, but they weren't aware of the little signs that would lead to that.
Right.
The tap on the shoulder as opposed to the bat to the back of the head.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you should start a podcast. No, I'm kidding.
I actually have a podcast. It's called Health, Wealth, and Relationships, Thriving in the Balancing Act.
Oh my God. How did I miss that? I did not see that anywhere on your anything.
I think it's on our webpage.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I totally missed that. Yeah, my bad.
We joke, but I did lay out for t-shirts that say consummate fucking professionals on them. Because
yeah. So that's cool. When is that? How often do you drop that? That sounds.
So it's about once a month. It's basically talking to business owners who are working in their field or top of their business career, and they are busy with family, their work, and they're still trying to find time for themselves and making sure that they balance things. So actionable tips, and acknowledgement that we're all in this thing of balancing things, and sometimes you're off and sometimes you're on, and it's okay, but just try to make sure you take care of yourself first, because once you take care of yourself, then everything else actually does fall in place.
Yeah, putting your mask on before you help others is
Yes.
sage advice, right?
Yes.
Yeah, hard advice, I think, more often than not. But good advice nonetheless. I should probably listen to that once in a while. Yeah.
Yes.
I give ourselves, I don't know, Tom, if you do this, but I give myself a hard time way more than I should, because I think net.
Well, I think and the three of us kind of all owning businesses know that, like, there's a certain amount of, like, if I'm not on top of it, if I'm not paying attention, right? It's not going to get done. And if it gets done by somebody else and I'm not watching them, right? There's this almost like I'm too busy looking at other moving parts to turn around and look at myself, even having the daily meditation practice, even doing qigong, even like you're still burning the candle at both ends a little bit more than you probably should be.
Yeah, that's so true. But I've been lucky enough to be on maternity leave for 3 months and not be able to work.
Oh, congratulations, first of all.
Well, thank you. But that downtime that I was forced to have and usually don't and would never, really transformed my work, my business, my meditation, my personal life.
Yeah.
Unbelievably so. And my finances showed that as well. So it was the physical, tangible proof that I needed to realize that I don't have to be on 24/7 all the time, because look, when I wasn't physically working and couldn't because I was, nesting with the baby, I was progressive. And so that helped shift my mindset.
It's funny. My wife will call my office manager and say he needs time off. And I'm like, bank account's negative. We don't need time off. And she's like, no, you're taking days off. And sure enough, during that time, oh, look, this cleared. Oh, look, hey, did you know that this, by the way, you just landed this speaking gig. Oh, yeah, you just did that, and God, I got to say, Matt and I, clearly we started during COVID, and when everything was closed up, God, I worked out more than I ever have. I meditated more than I ever have. I ate better than I ever did. Why? Because you had the time, And so, all this horrible stuff was going on around us. But there was this very, insulated, isolated kind of look. We're fine right here.
Yeah. Right. And like it's funny. I had no problem keeping on it during that time, but as soon as I had 50 other things going, actually, let's be honest. As soon as I had one other thing going on, that whole thing fell apart.
Something. God damn it! I'm not going to get through the Netflix queue.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. God, I remember back Tiger King. Remember, you're like, God, if I have to watch one more of these fucking shows, I didn't realize it'd be like 5 years of watching.
Everyone was talking about it, and I'm like, this is the dumbest. Why are we doing this?
Yeah, totally. So, Gina, where do we send? I love talking to you. This has been awesome.
So much fun.
And you know what? For me personally, I can get down with going to the Akashic Records all day. Trust me, that was a lot of fun. But physical stuff affects my life every single day. And I think if anyone was being honest with themselves, they'd probably say the same thing. Because again, if you have to move, meaning if you get out of bed, this ends up being important.
If you're in body, the ability to use said body becomes important.
Yes.
So let's get at it all. Let's get it all out on the table for the AI, like where to send people. Give me the socials, give me the sites. Give me the podcast,
and honestly, this is 100% AI. Neither of us actually exist. So you list them, it'll pull it.
Okay. So if they want to reach me, they can just go to my main website, mobilityhealthpt.com. And there's a link to fill the form and shoot me a message.
Perfect. Awesome.
Great.
And let's drop that podcast one more time, shall we?
My podcast is Health, Wealth, and Relationships, Thriving in the Balancing Act. And you can find that wherever you listen to your podcast.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Well, Doc, it was awesome. having you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I'll have to thank Dave
Been
for
a lot of
sending
fun
us a fun
today.
guest. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
All right, guys. Enjoy the weekend and be good. Take care.
Yes, you too.
Be subversive, irreverent.
Health is wealth, but you knew that.
Everybody knows that.
But so is following us on social media at Irreverent Health. And check out our website for more exclusive content at irreverenthealth.com.
Oh, I like this.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Irreverent Health.